defense. He had a great run on first down. He locks his hands on that football. It's like a vice grip.
And now it's the kick return team that comes up with a big one. Really solid football, reaching out for the touchdown.
Look at the blocking. Holy smoke. Nobody touches them.
Garbarino makes another man miss and dances into the end zone.
Strap in your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on.
First full day of fall, it's only fitting, and it's a football Friday night. The stage doesn't get much bigger than this, a battle of unbeatens. The 4-0 Chippewa Valley Big Reds taking on the 4-0 Dakota Cougars. Hello again, everybody. I'm Brad Fetters for Chippewa Valley Cable TV, joined as always by Jeff Vitale. And Jeff, we've had this game circled on our calendar since the start of summer. Both teams have held up their end of the bargain. Both are undefeated and top 10 teams in the state of Michigan.
Circled, highlighted, bolded, underlined, multiple colors around the calendar. This game has been, we've been waiting for this. And, it doesn't get much better than Chippewa, Dakota. And we can add a few things to it this year. Both teams 4-0, which means the winner tonight takes over sole possession of the MAC Red, unless we have a tie. There is so much going. These kids have played each other since middle school. They know each other. No one can really give a scouting report because the kids know each other better than any scouting report can give you. This is what it's all about. Huge crowd. Parking lot is all over the place. There's nowhere to park. It is Chippewa, Dakota, Brad.
Well, I can guarantee one thing. We will not have a tie here tonight as I'm at basics. Kickoff sails into the end zone. So Dakota will put the ball in play from their very own 20-yard line. And Jeff, this is a Dakota offense that has been loaded this season. They're averaging 33 points per game. It's a juggernaut, especially on the ground. It's a unit that's averaging 224 rushing yards per game to go along with 193 yards through the air, and really they get it going with Joe Kasevic at running back.
Yeah, he's carried the ball pretty well for them this year behind a big offensive line. This is a very good Chippewa defensive line, but look at first down, and he gets a big run all the way out. Also, Williams there on the lead block, and almost a 10-yard gain on first down for the Cougars.
He's just going to be short of the first down markers. That was Kasevic on first down. He took a little bit of a stumble taking that football in the backfield, but was able to muscle forward for 9 yards.
We said this, in several broadcasts leading up to this also, is that the team who can move the ball in each other's defense, because both defenses are so good, is really going to take control of this game. So we kind of see how it plays
look
out.
Hamby's going to have to fall on it, and it's limiting mistakes as well. When two teams are this equal, it's limiting mistakes, it's limiting turnovers. And so far, Dakota blinking here on second down with the high snap over Hamby's head, and he wisely just fell on it.
Yeah, those are tough mistakes. You know, no offense is prepared to have third down and 12 plays. So, you know, obviously here, you know, the Big Reds can kind of get their pass rush going here, obvious passing down here for the Cougars.
Hamby looks to his left, now goes back to the middle of the field. He's got Garbarino wide open across the 40, up to the 42-yard line. Garbarino, one of those sure-handed wide receivers this year for Dakota.
Yeah, nice big 24-yard gain on 3rd and long. He just basically ran a crossing route across the field. It looked like a post, but he came more across the field. And Hamby just waited for him to get into the open there and threw a beautiful pass.
Kasevic goes to his right, makes the first man miss. Into the secondary now, across the 50 to the 40, a stiff arm to the 30. Finally brought down. What a run.
Well, the Big Reds there trying to strip the ball out, but Kasevic just kept his feet moving and got some extra yardage there and took it on inside the almost 29-yard line. Cougars are in business right off the bat. Just when it seemed like the Big Reds might force a 3 and out, the Cougars are knocking on the door almost into the red zone.
A 28-yard gain by Kasevic. They're going to give it right back to him. Goes straight up the gut, nowhere to go. This time swallowed up by that linebacking core of Chippewa Valley.
Number 7, Andrew Spiteri.
Andrew Spiteri, the initial Big Red in on the stop. Chippewa Valley, Jeff, playing a little short-handed here tonight.
Yeah, with Cameron Frazier out, 22, Jordan Byers is in there. He was kind of in there on the tackle as well. Anthony Wright was also in there on the tackle. So there's some players tonight that are going to have to step up. Leha for the Cougars, so they're going to get some guys that have got to play big tonight in this big rivalry game.
Kasevic takes the handoff, goes to his left, looking for an edge, gets it up to the 25.
Nice job on the end there by Tyler Buckholz, playing that out. He was the first one in to grab him and pull him backwards as the cleanup crew came. So now a 3rd and 6, and you know, especially in a game like this on 3rd down, you got to get off the field. Getting off the field is huge. The team that converts 3rd downs today are going to have a good day. Defenses have got to cash in on these 3rd downs and force teams to punt or kick a field goal.
A little bit of movement up front. Chippewa Valley able to stay onside. Ethan Hamby looks over at his home sideline, gets the play call, checks to make sure everything's good with his running back. Looks to his right, scans down to the center of the field. All of his options are covered. Gets flushed out of the pocket. He's going to have to scramble for it, and he's going to be short. Ushered out of bounds right around the 20-yard line.
Yeah, he got around the end over there on that far side, and he was able to get pretty close to the marker there.
And they're actually going to spot him all the way back at the 22.
Yeah,
so he's going to be 3 full yards short of the first down marker.
You know, in fall weather and the ball being cold, I think the Cougars are going to try to just use their muscle here and try to go for it on 4th down.
Short down back Kelvin Watson into the game now in the tailback position.
This is also a good down for your hard count or freeze play.
Gives it to Watson.
Oh,
stopped at the line. He's going to be a yard short. Needed to gain the 19, got it to the 20. So Chippewa Valley comes up with the stop as the Cougars turn it over on downs.
Yeah, got the official signal finally from the referee, and wow, big stop there as the Cougars just try to go power football right at them, and the Big Reds come up big, and now we'll see what Chippewa Valley can do on their first possession, their own 20-yard line, and now the Cougar defense, Brad, which we've talked about a lot, see what they can do on first down. Is they're then a 3-man front look now, which is something we haven't seen.
This is a Cougar defense that gives up just 4 points per game. Nothing there for Krasnicki on first down.
Yeah, this is a team that really pursues to the football. A lot of speed and a tremendous D-line. And they're going with a little bit more of more linebackers in that 5. In the normal 4-2-5, this is more of a 3-3-5 to try to help combat the speed of the Big Reds. Instead, that D-line is awful formidable with Coleman and Patiglio, and you know, they are a handful.
Schuster fakes the handoff, looks out, overthrows his man. Deshaun Lanier, who's become quite the valuable weapon offensively for Chippewa Valley, was the man that was open, and Schuster could not connect.
Yeah, he's had some big games this year, and he's going to need to do that again tonight with as good as this Dakota secondary is. They are flying the ball, and this is also a defense you do not want to get on a 3rd and long. They might play some more bases, but Coach Bauer is known to bring blitzes from all different angles, so you really got to keep your eyes on a swivel here.
Darren Hawkins now in at running back. Schuster, low snap, able to get it up. He's going to take off now, and he's going to get sacked.
Yeah, that drop, obviously throws the rhythm off when you're looking to get your eyes up downfield right away. And this is going to be kind of a quick hitter up the middle. So the Cougar defense goes 3 and out.
Mike Patiglio in on the sack. 21st sack of the season for the Cougars defensively. Owen Colpert and Blake Garbarino, the 2 men deep for the Cougars. Garbarino's got his heels on his 40. It's a good end-over-end punt. And it's going to take a Chippewa Valley bounce, and it will take a big roll down to the 24-yard line.
That was almost a 20-yard roll.
A 57-yard punt, no return. The Dakota offense goes back to work, their second offensive possession of the game. The Cougars coming off a 38-3 win last week over Stevenson. Watson had 2 rushing touchdowns. Kasevic had 152 on the ground on just 15 carries, 1 touchdown, and a long of 46. Hamby once again really solid, 15 to 26 for 245 and 2 touchdowns. Sends Garbarino in motion, hands off. Kasevic nowhere to go. Good pursuit that time by the Big Reds up front.
Kresnicki was in on that play right off the bat, and Kasevic just turned it up and got what he could. He still got 2 out on the play, but the Big Reds had that play sniffed out. And that's what I'm sure both coaches are going to ask from their quarterbacks today. Just be efficient. Chippewa Valley is a team that does not turn the ball over. And the Cougars are going to have to take care of the football, but right now both defenses have yet to blink.
The entire offense looks over at the sideline. Quest Williams in at running back. A little bit of a bunch formation. Garbarino going to take it on the jet sweep. Brought down from behind.
Got about 4 or 5
Anthony
on the play.
Wright, the Big Red, making the tackle. How good is Mr. Wright?
Oh, last week on a broadcast, he made a play where on that 3rd and short where he literally just picked up that Eisenhower running back and walked him backwards. Everyone thought he was going to belly to body slam him there, but on a big 4th down. And then his partner, who's usually right next to him, Devontae Love, made a big interception that kind of helped steal the game. So both teams, a lot of talent. Something's got to give.
Hamby with trips to his left. Kasevic makes the first man miss and takes a spill short of the first down markers as he tried to cut that back upfield. He lost the wheel, took a spill, and it'll bring up 4th and 2, and Dakota is going to punt the football away.
Yeah, it's a little bit different decision when you're down at the other end of the field on the other team's 20-yard line. When you're in your own end zone, especially in a 0-0 game, you do not want to give anybody momentum early on. So I think punting this football away is a safe bet. But this could also be an area, too, where you might be able to fake it. And the Big Reds are kind of watching for that.
Owen Colpert is going to kick it away. Lanier back for Chippewa Valley. It's a good snap. Colpert gets the kick away. And it is going to check up, and it is going to check up out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So really good starting position now for the Big Reds on their second offensive possession of this football game.
So, both teams, Big Reds, getting ready for their second possession. But again, we kind of talked about this coming in. I think you said the over-under was 27.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
And we both kind of said, I don't know, a 14-13 game, it doesn't kind of seem like a Chippewa Dakota game. But the way these defenses could play, I mean, you could see a 7-3 game. You could see a 37-33 game. It's so difficult to tell with these because sometimes the floodgates just open up.
Pass out into the flats. Shamar Hurd brought down hard. Lorenzo Alfred with the tackle.
Yeah, that was kind of a slam there, and we've seen penalties this year. It's kind of a judgment call the officials have to make. They deemed like it was, not a malicious tackle, a 2-yard loss nonetheless. Again, we talk about the pursuit of that Cougar defense. It is so good. They are so fast to the football. You hesitate just a half a second, you're going to have 3-4 guys on you before you even know it.
Yeah, hesitation. You're going to pay the price. We talked about this Cougar team just giving up 4 points per game. That's 9th fewest in the state across all divisions, and number 1 in Division 1. Nowhere to go for Cash Shaw.
Yeah, he got back to the line of scrimmage and maybe just a little bit past it. One referee's got to pass the line. The near official has it at the line. So we're going to see they're going to put him at the 46. So he got him. Base got 3 on the play.
They'll bring up a 3rd down, 9 to go. This is strength versus strength. Chippewa Valley offensively averaging 34 points per game. So the strength of their game is their offense, their ability to throw it around the yard with junior signal caller Andrew Schuster. He hasn't really gotten going through these first 2 possessions of this football game, but it's the Chippewa Valley squad that's coming off a 41-point performance in their 41-28 win last week over Anchor Bay. Schuster in the shotgun, gonna hand off. Cutting back up near the sticks across the 45. Good enough for a first down. But that was Cash Shaw once again.
We've seen the centers, fall weather, it could be a little dewy down in the field, a little cold. Both centers are having a hard time with that shotgun snap. This is the second one we've seen Chippewa Valley where Schuster's had to really reach low to get it. Nice draw play, though. They kind of had it very well blocked because I was just getting ready to say the previous plays. The Big Reds usually used to seeing them gash teams running the football. There is nowhere to go at all there. Tough sledding. So that was a nice draw play. Got some yardage there. Moved the chains for Chippewa Valley and their first down of the game. First down of the game.
So we have seen a lot of Clement Krasnicki throughout this season. And Chippewa Valley through the early part of this game has gone with Cash Shaw and Hawkins at the tailback position. This time it's Schuster lowering a shoulder. Picks up 7 on first down.
Yeah, and there was no hesitation there, Brad. He wasn't going to slide. That shoulder was going forward. He was plowing his way into that defender. Picked up a nice gain of 7 on the play. A nice read option. Very well done by Andrew Schuster. The Big Reds starting to make something happen here with
Buck 45 left to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, and with the way the wind is tonight, not much of it. You're getting pretty close to the range of Ahmed Basic.
Chippewa Valley taking their time. This is a notorious offense in terms of being able to pound the football, take up a lot of clock, keeps offenses on the other side of the sidelines. This time Schuster fakes the handoff, goes around right edge, gets the first down.
Yeah, Big Red's really mixing things up. Coach Generator right now trying to start to find his rhythm a little bit, calling some plays, and the Big Red offensive line starting to move a little bit and hook some guys. Again, this is just I've said this before, Brad. Can you imagine if this was one team?
They'd be unstoppable. They'd be in the top. They'd be the top team in the state every single season.
What about the country?
No.
I mean, it's insane, the talent. Uh-oh.
Schuster able to avoid the sack, takes a little bit of a late hit, throws into coverage. Oh my! It's a touchdown!
Oh, he got the toe in.
Shamar Hurd, 33 yards.
A deep post by Hurd. It was a little misplayed by the safety, and he somehow got a back foot toe in the blue area. With it being blue and white down there, I mean, it is easier to see, and he must have got it down as the referee signaled it right away. Touchdown, Big Reds.
An unbelievable throw under pressure by Andrew Schuster, throwing it into coverage. Shamar Hurd went up, snagged it out of thin air, able to bring a foot down in the end zone, and the Big Reds on the road strike first. A scoring drive of 55 yards. The last 33 of it through the air. Andrew Schuster to Shamar Hurd, and the Big Reds lead it 7-0, 42 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play.
Well, when you had this game, it's basically expect the unexpected, right? And you know, with the Cougars secondary as good as it is, what did the Big Reds do? They hit one long on a home run, and here we go, batten down the hatches, guys. This is Chippewa, Dakota, and you don't know what's going to happen. If you're not here, shame on you. If you're watching this for the first time, you already know what the score is.
It's like two heavyweights in the center of the ring. Chippewa Valley with the first uppercut of the fight, take the 7-0 lead.
A nice little wrinkle that we haven't seen from the Big Reds, and I'm sure the Cougars have something in their back pocket as well, Brad. You know, you always, in this game, you always save a little bit for your crosstown rival, and you're going to start to see some things come out. The question is going to be, you know, which offensive coordinator is going to be the most creative. What you're the beneficiary of is the teams that play these two teams afterwards, because you get to see all these wrinkles.
Everything on tape, right?
Right. You see it all come out in this game.
Well, we talked about Chippewa Valley, their victory over Anchor Bay last week. They took care of business in week 1 of the MAC Red season over Eisenhower, 33-7. Dakota, on the other hand, beat up on Anchor Bay 31-7 in week 1 of MAC Red play, and then beat Stevenson 38-3 last week. So both teams have had a relatively easy start to MAC Red play. First true test here tonight.
Well, and here's the one thing we want to talk about with last week with the Anchor Bay game, because we talked with Coach Merchant on the field beforehand. So that was a 41-7 game at the end of the third quarter. Yep. Chippewa Valley was dismantling Anchor Bay. Chippewa Valley concedes and pulls their starters. Anchor Bay doesn't concede. The next thing you know, it's a 41-28 game. So Anchor Bay did not put 28 points up on the Big Reds' #1 defense. Okay, let's make that clear right now. So Chippewa Valley was in firm control of that game, and when you have to put your starters back in, the momentum is just gone at that point in time.
Yeah, it's hard to get that intensity.
Yeah, and the Big Reds had to hold on. So, you know, this is not, you know, I kind of saw a lot of the rumblings of, oh, this is not a good football team. They only beat Anchor Bay by 13. This is a very good football team. Both teams are. And if you do not respect them, they're going to punch you in the face. And between Coach Bauer and Coach Merchant and the staffs, there is a lot of respect for what both staffs can do. They've been around. These guys can play. These guys can coach. These kids are well coached, and they are two good football teams.
Two teams will trade ends, as we'll stay right here for the start of the second quarter of play. 7th all-time meeting when both teams were undefeated. The last time both of these two schools came into this matchup unbeaten was back in 2018. They were 4-0 at that time. Some kind of eerie similarities to tonight. Chippewa Valley was the victor in that game, 24-17. However, Dakota is 5-1 all-time in the previous 6 meetings that these two teams came in undefeated, and really the games haven't been very close. You look back at that 2013 game, and that one was supposed to be the top billing, right? Both teams were 7-0, and the Cougars came out of that one 52-7 victors. They absolutely dismantled the Big Reds that night.
Yeah, and like I said, there's been some games that it gets out of hand in a hurry and just kind of snowballs, but you know, there was a long stretch of time where the series was really owned by Dakota, and it took till, I believe it was 17, which happened to be my son's senior year, that they pulled a big upset and actually won the trophy back. It had been like almost like 11 or 12 years, something like that Dakota had held on to the superintendent's trophy.
Hamby finds Colpert up near midfield.
Well, you can see now, Brad, in Dakota's third possession, they are really coming out and testing out this Big Red secondary. Colpert there, They had a nice little under route. Everyone ran deep and took the secondary deep, and they drug someone across the field, and he was wide open for a big gain. So Ethan Hamby now coming out slinging the football using that talented wide receiver core.
They send Garbarino in motion. Hamby looks that way. He's going to take off. The initial pressure supplied by Andrew Spiteri.
Yeah. And then Anthony Wright came in to help clean him up, and that is a lot of humanity helping out on that play. We've already talked about the presence that Anthony Wright brings to the table.
So we mentioned the Big Reds without Cameron Frazier here tonight, injured his knee on an onside kick. Loss of services of Kalen Shaw after that opening week game against Detroit Catholic Central. So without two captains here tonight, as the big guys up front paving the way that time for Joe Kasevic.
Yeah, the motion man just helped create a little advantage there on that left side. And they just kind of walled everybody in and did a nice job of blocking there. And Kasevic hits that hole 100 miles an hour. And the Cougars have got something going now at the Big Red 36.
Kasevic, 541 yards coming into tonight's play. 7.5 yards per carry, 135 yards per game, Jeff, and he's gone over 100 yards in 3 of the 4 Dakota games this season. Kasevic again.
Man, listen, this is big boy football, Brad. There's some hitting going on down there. I mean, these kids are laying the lumber on each other, and Kasevic just ran a Big Red over. I couldn't quite see who it was, but he is running hard. The Cougars are starting to move the football. They're trying to answer. You know, Big Red's kind of hit them early. This is a big answer for the Cougars to try to get this game back to 0-0, so to speak. You know, you've seen this game get out of hand. That's something that both teams don't want. You want to be able to trade counter punches with your opponent.
They send Garbarino in motion. Kasevic takes a handoff. Jukes his way across the 30. Close to a first down once again. Looks like he's going to be a yard short.
Nice gain on the play.
Picked up 6. And it'll bring up a third down and short. A lot of changes defensively for Chippewa Valley. Dakota in no hurry to break their huddle. Couple tight ends into the game for Dakota. Bad exchange between quarterback and tailback.
Those little mistakes are drive killers, man. You're 3rd and short. You're ready to play your bread and butter play out, and now you lose 4 or 5 yards, and now you put yourself at a 4th and 7. Obviously, this is where you might look to go for it here. Maybe try something a little different. And try to run it right down the Big Red's throat the last time. It didn't quite work out. Might try to spread them out a little bit and see what you can do.
Bad mesh point there between Hamby and Kelvin Watson. Their short down back came into that game for that 3rd and 2. Backed up now, 4 wide receiver set. Hamby with time, floats one in and out of the hands, was looking for Quest Williams. Had him open, a little tight end drag across the middle of the field, and Williams dropped the football.
Yeah, Quest wants that one back. I can tell you that right now. He was wide open on a nice drag route. That drag route has given the Big Reds problems so far tonight, and he just dropped the ball. And the Big Reds, after a pretty nice drive going there, that one little miscue really hurts the Cougars. 2 mistakes there in their final 2 downs, and the Big Reds going to get the ball back on a turnover on downs.
Talking to both of these teams prior to the start of the season for our preseason show, the captains of Chippewa Valley were well aware that they have yet to beat Dakota in their high school careers. At the varsity level, they are 0-3. Dakota has won the last 3. Chippewa Valley, prior to that 3-game losing streak, had won the previous 5. So both of these teams have gone on long winning streaks.
Well, on the tackle there, of course, Mr. Harper made his presence known. A nice job coming up from his linebacker position to fill that. Both teams right now, it is tough sledding running the ball. They've kind of had to get creative running the football because just that straight ahead power football, which we are used to seeing from both teams, just has not been there because both defenses are so good.
Tyler Harper coming into play tonight, 20 solo tackles, Jeff, 5.5 sacks on the season. Really the heart and soul of this defense in that linebacking position. Schuster looking for the home run ball. That looked like pass interference.
Yep.
And we're going to get it. Lorenzo Alfred in coverage, didn't look back and basically took out his wide receiver.
Yeah, you know, just trying to use your speed down the sideline. There was a little bit of contact made, which slowed Lanier down. I know the fans over here don't like it. They're a little biased. And if it was the other way, the fans on the other side wouldn't like it because they're a little biased. But that was the right call. But I know, fortunately, in high school football, it is only a 15-yard penalty. So it does move the chains for the Big Reds. But it's about a difference of about 20 yards in penalty range.
Not the spot foul that we're accustomed to seeing in the NFL. Ball just short of the midfield stripe. 6:57 remaining. First half of play.
The Big Reds coming out really swinging for the fences, though. They are not holding anything back. It's kind of like that little scene from The Waterboy where he's like, last game of the season, can't hold anything back.
Well, I think it's a testament to the fact that they're the road team, as Kresnicki had problems with the exchange between him and the quarterback Schuster.
Well, we've seen some fumbled exchanges. We've seen some trouble with the snaps with both centers. You know, maybe it is a little damp down there, which is causing both teams to hold on the ball, or it's maybe nerves. I mean, this is a big game. 4-0 versus 4-0. The winner of this game takes over the driver's seat in the MAC Red, controlling their own destiny. There's a lot on the line here, you know, not to mention your crosstown rival and in-district rival.
Well, not only that, but Channel 7's here as well. Brad Galley. I saw you hanging out with Brad Galley prior to the start of the game tonight.
Well, you know, he asked me for my autograph. You know, I had to oblige.
I think your fan club's ever growing, man. You get
it's hard being
every
me,
few
man.
steps down at field level. You get stopped. People are shaking your hand. You're kissing babies, hugging moms. You're a man of the people, Jeff Vitale.
When you've been around as long as I have, you know, some of the jokes I get from some of the younger teachers is like, what was it like going to school with Jesus? And, you know, those kind of comments.
Yeah.
You know, you've been around here a long time. You tend to meet a few people. And, you know, you've mentioned it a few times. You know, I coach over at Iroquois. I'm the head football coach over there. I've been there for 11 years. And I've always had a hard time with this game because I have players on both teams. And it's tough for me. You know, you develop a bond with these kids. And Coach Merchant and Coach Bauer, I'll speak on that in just a minute.
Kresnicki just back up to the line of scrimmage.
You know, Coach Bauer and Coach Merchant before the game talked to us about their relationship with players, and you build a relationship with these kids. And even though I don't get to see them in 9th through 10th grade, I get to watch them grow up. And now tonight I'm watching them in a very tough game battle each other. And it's kind of hard for their old coach to sit up here and watch these guys get after it. But in the meantime, too, you know, you're also so very proud. So there are a lot of kids down there that I've had the pleasure of coaching, and it's fun to have that part in this rivalry.
3rd down and 12. Chippewa Valley with that procedural penalty kind of set them back here. They are officially off schedule. Dakota bringing the heat. Yep. They're going to get home. They're going to sack Schuster.
Well, we talked about that. Coach Bauer can bring blitzes from almost every angle. They got some penetration there with the defensive line, but he did bring an extra body. They got to Schuster pretty quickly, and defense doing a great job getting the ball back for their offense.
Anthony Coleman in there on that sack. Chippewa Valley will punt the football away.
Oh, what a punt.
Ahmed Basic absolutely drilled it. And it's going to take a Cougar bounce, and it's going to get downed at the 32-yard line.
Jordan Byers taking on a few Cougars down there. He's popping a few kids. It gets physical down there, folks. You better get your head on a swivel. You take a second or two, kind of admire the scenery. Someone is going to knock you on your rear end.
Cougar offense, 2 turnovers on downs to go along with a punt. They've moved the football, just haven't been able to come up with that clutch fourth down play.
You know, and the Big Red defense has played pretty well so far, holding this Cougar offense scoreless. Obviously, some miscues have helped them, but they've done a pretty good job just staying put.
And we mentioned this Dakota defense giving up just 4 points per game. Chippewa Valley, on the other hand, 14.5, so they can play as well.
I don't know if you just saw that, Brad, but Anthony Wright just made the tackle with one hand. I mean, he literally grabbed him and tossed him to the ground, just like a sack of potatoes. And and he's only a junior, but he's a 3-year starter at 5'11", 275 pounds. And when he gets those meat hooks on you, you're going to the ground.
Hamby looks deep, wants a man, got a man in stride, incomplete. Oh, that would have been a big play.
That's a tough. Ethan Hamby has put 2 balls right on the money. They're just, unfortunately, right now for him, his receivers haven't been able to come up with, because he has laid 2 balls in there about as nice as you can throw it. So the senior quarterback for Dakota, having himself a game so far, just got to get a few of these to connect, because boy, oh boy, he has put 2 beauties right on the money.
Was looking for DeAndre Lawrence. Trips to Hamby's right. Hamby looks to the left and said, got Owen Colpert just past the sticks. Colpert knew where he was on the football field, ran past the sticks, came back on that timing route. Ball was delivered on the spot. Good enough for a first down.
Yeah, nice deep comeback there by Colpert. And boy, that ball was out before he even made his break. Just a beautiful pass. And that's what you do. You see they went trips to the right. They let Owen work one-on-one down here at the bottom, and he's a tough cover, man. He's a big, strong, physical kid. He made a nice play. Hamby threw a great ball.
Garbarino in motion. Play action fake. Going deep once again, this time overthrown. No shot for the intended wide receiver, Caleb Pritchard.
You think both offensive coordinators got a little offended that over-under?
They're opening up the playbook, aren't they?
Although, where it's headed right now,
Well,
I'm just saying, 7-0. We're almost to halftime. Feels like we're still in the first quarter, but we got 3:05 to go in the half. So
I talked about 2 heavyweights at the center of the ring, right? Well, sometimes those haymakers that they throw, they don't connect.
no.
And they punch themselves out. We'll see if that's the case here as this game progresses. Hamby, good protection up front, steps up in the pocket, and now it collapses and down he goes. That'll be a quarterback sack.
Anthony Wright, also Tyler Buckholz. Anthony Wright just takes up so much room in that interior. He is so tough to block, and he's got another year. I mean, it feels like he's like a 5th-year senior. He's only a junior, and you get to watch him for another year, as special as he can be.
Tyler Buckholz, a very good tight end, as well as a defensive lineman.
Also was a member of the JV basketball team last year. I couldn't imagine watching him get his uniform on, probably with a shoehorn, Brad.
Here comes the blitz, a little
nice
drop-off pass. Kasevic, no room. Nice play defensively. Cash Shaw with the tackle.
Yeah, the Big Reds down up their own blitz, and Hamby did a great job of hanging in there. And the screen was a great call, but the pursuit to the ball was fantastic. Also, Wright was there to clean up, but Shaw was the first one on the play, and he's played some big, big, big minutes. You know, especially since Big Brother went down. So Big Red's forcing the Cougars to punt again. His defense has played outstanding in the first half.
Owen Colpert, the punter, high snap, he brings it down. Right-footed kick. It's a low-line driving kick. That's going to take a Cougar bounce. And it might have rolled a little bit further, but it was down at the 21.
Yeah, we'll see if the Big Reds are content with going in the half up 7-0. They will get the ball to start the second half since they kicked it off. But the rate this is going right now, you just don't know. It looked like, okay, as I say, the way they lined up, it looked like they were in their goal line to look, but now they're coming back out in the Twins. You got Shamar and Deshaun to one side of the field, and you know that speed down the middle of the field has worked before. You got to give him some space. There's no one in this area that can run with him step for step.
Look out for Lanier at the very bottom of the formation as well. Handoff. Minimal gain on first down by Cash Saw.
Yeah, there's just no, that interior defense on both teams, there's just no movement inside between the tackles. They're just, both teams are so stout up the middle. There's just nowhere to go.
$1:10 remaining in the first half of play. Chippewa Valley taking their time. Have all 3 timeouts remaining, but they seem awfully content to head into the halftime break up a touchdown.
Yeah, and you just wonder if, be happy with that, because, the one thing you don't want to do is make a mistake here and make this game tied before the half and just lose all momentum that you've had. I mean, if you came in this game saying the Big Reds would goose egg the Cougars, I don't think that could happen either, but I could say the same thing the other way, too.
Shaw up to the 29. The line to gain is the 31, so it'll be a 3rd and 2. And Chippewa Valley will have to run one final play before the halftime buzzer.
Nice gain on the play. That's going to have 3rd down and about 3.
And you wonder if you get the first down here, do they call a quick timeout and then try to heat one, especially if there's no time left? But
well, Coach Merchant's talking to that side judge, so perhaps he wants to, well, I guess they do not have to run a final play. I thought there was enough time to run one more.
Back on.
Dakota defense started coming off the field, as did the Chippewa Valley offense.
Now they're going.
And that will officially do it. Big Reds did not have to run a final play, and they will take the long trek into their locker room up 7-0. Jeff, your thoughts on a 1-score game?
Well, definitely surprised of a 7-0 halftime score with these two teams. However, both defenses have played outstanding. The Big Reds connected on a deep pass. The Cougars have had some opportunities, just haven't been able to connect. So now comes the chess match of the coaching staff. Okay, how are we going to adjust? How are we going to fix things? How are we going to come at them? It's still anyone's ball game, but the Big Reds have hit the first punch. So second half, let's go. It's game on, and this is what it's all about.
Shamar Hurd, 33 yards from Andrew Schuster, the only score of the game. The Big Reds take the 7-0 lead into halftime. We'll be right back with the start of the 3rd quarter of play.
These are some facts about youth alcohol use. While the good news is that underage drinking has declined over the years, rates of youth alcohol use are still high. 30% of 12th graders in the United States reported drinking in the past month. Alcohol use by teens frequently involves binge drinking. Regular alcohol use can damage the developing teen brain, creating problems with learning, memory, and processing information. Youth alcohol use is associated with other negative consequences, including poor school performance, injury and death from car crashes, suicide, mental health issues, and use of other drugs. The majority of those diagnosed with an alcohol use disorder in adulthood began drinking by the age of 18.
Let's hear it for the Dakota dance team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Dakota Cougar Marching Band under the direction of Justin McCarowitz. Kurt Rass, led by drum majors Audrey Schneider and Maeve McSherry.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. The little girl wore a Red Riding cloak, so everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. What happens when the innocent are perceived as guilty, and the guilty are perceived as innocent?
This is a message to raise awareness of the dangers of youth use of alcohol and other drugs. These are some facts about youth prescription opioid medication misuse from the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Teen abuse of prescription opioid medications has declined steadily over past years. However, young adults 18 to 24 are the largest group abusing prescription medication, including opioids, medications prescribed for ADHD, and anti-anxiety medication. Those that abuse prescription opioids are at greater risk of becoming addicted, of negative life and health consequences, of overdose, and death. Prescription opioids are chemically related to heroin. Nearly 80% of people addicted to heroin started first by abusing opioid medications. Teens that misuse prescription medication get it from their friends, from unsecured medication at their home, or from the home of a relative. Lock up, properly dispose, and never share medication. For more information on the abuse of opioid medication, visit drugabuse.gov.
Welcome back to Dakota High School. Brad Fetters alongside Jeff Vitale for Chippewa Valley Cable Television. One of 7 matchups tonight between unbeatens across the state of Michigan. Chippewa Valley in front of the Dakota Cougars 7-0. The lone touchdown of the game thus far. A 33-yard pitch and catch. Andrew Schuster to Shamar Hurd gave Chippewa Valley the 7-0 lead. The Dakota offense, 2 turnovers on downs, as well as 2 punts as they drove the ball deep into Chippewa Valley territory, but just couldn't cash in.
Yeah, Shamar got hit on that deep post, but some miscues have really hurt the Cougars in the first half. They get the ball going, a couple snaps. They had that fumble exchange. It kind of cost them a little bit. Hamby hit a couple receivers with some drops that put it right on the money. All those little things have kind of hurt the Cougars, and all that. They're still only down 7-0. It's just one big play. That's kind of been the difference in this game so far. So it's still anybody's game, Brad.
Lanier and Hurd deep for Chippewa Valley. Ball is teed up. Toe meets leather. It's a low kick, and Chippewa Valley's going to fall on it. It's Preston Roberts. So the Big Reds will put the ball in play on their 35-yard line. So, mentioned, one of 7 matchups tonight between unbeatens. 2 other Division I games taking place tonight between unbeatens. That's Caledonia versus Granville on the west side of the state. And you got Brighton and Northville. So our 2 district teams are 2 of just 10 unbeaten teams in Division I. The other unbeatens include West Bloomfield, Rockford, Belleville, who's arguably probably the #1 team in the state right now, and Saline. Schuster leans forward, takes the snap, hands off to Krasnicki. Picks up about 5 there on first down. Nice gain on first. He'll bring up a 2nd down and 5.
Yeah, inside zone play. Krasnicki saw a cutback lane, got there and got 5, and that's been one of their better running plays today. I know Schuster's had a couple big runs on the read options, but straight dive to the fullback, to the tailback, that's been the biggest run tonight, as it's been tough sledding inside.
Minimal mistakes in that first half. One would maybe kind of pick out the 2 plays that Dakota had offensively. They had a snap sail over Hamby's head that kind of put him behind the chains, and then they had a bad exchange between Hamby and his running back, Watson. That was a short situation, a 3rd and short, and Watson wasn't able to get anything going on that bad exchange. And
and then he had the drag across the middle, which was wide open.
Yep,
and it was
Quest
a drop,
Williams
and then,
dropped
of course,
it.
The deep ball. And that was on 4th down. Then he had another deep ball that literally he was behind the defense and had for a touchdown, and just out of his hands there. So, the Cougars had some opportunities, just didn't cash in.
Krasnicki bounces off the first defender.
Nice tackle.
Number 33, Clement Krasnicki on the carry. Brought down by number 8.
4th and 1. Boy, these are the tough ones because, you go for it and you get it, you say 4th and 1. But if you don't get it, you put the Cougars, after trying to make some adjustments at halftime, in really, really, really good field position. And the Big Reds are going to go for it.
Cougar faithful urging their defense on. Some movement up front. Chippewa Valley wanted the offside call. You just wonder here if this is Schuster. Now he's going to drop back and punt this football away. He is going to punt this football away, and it's a shank. It's a shank. He didn't give himself enough room, and this is just an absolute nightmare.
I think it got blocked.
You think it got blocked? I think it was just a shank.
It looked like someone had got through and at least kind of tipped it, because the way it started to angle and went up in the air, it looked like someone might have, because there was someone limping. He might have got kicked. It was hard. It happened so quick, but you're right, Brad. He wasn't that deep.
No, he wasn't even 10 yards. He wasn't even 10 yards back. Well, and this is,
I mean, that was what, a 3-yard punt?
yeah, this is going to become some second guessing here, because you only needed a yard on the ground, and you elected to punt the football. Why wouldn't you just bring your kick team out and make sure you get the punt away? You're not fooling anybody by having Schuster pooch that kick away. Kasevic right into the heart of that defensive line, pushes his legs forward.
Anthony Wright in there again. He's having himself a ball game.
About 3 on the play. That's going to bring up
You have one of the best kickers around in Ahmet Basic. He can flip this field in a hurry with a big kick. Not saying anything, Jeff.
I mean, you know, you've seen the pooch punt from the Big Reds before, and just
but you're
not with that result. But even, you know, maybe not wanting to burn a timeout that early.
But you're not in a spot in the field where you need a pooch kick, and you're not fooling anybody by having the quarterback do it. His Hamby looks deep, and he had a man just out of the outstretched reach of Garbarino.
Well, there are 2 guys running down that center of the field that stretched the defense, and Garbarino came out on that wheel route, and he was wide open. And again, that's the 3rd big pass the Cougars haven't been able to cash in on. It really might have changed the complexion of this game. They're close. They're close. They're just not getting that. They're just not quite there, and that's why we still got a 7-0 game. Not to mention, this game is flying by.
Yeah, 8:54 left to go, 3rd quarter. The first half of play just took 37 real minutes to play. A lot of time spent on the ground. Hamby throws a strike to Colpert down to the 28-yard line. 16 yards on the quick strike.
Yeah, he ran a nice in route there. Can be put on the money. Colpart made the reception, and now the Cougars are moving.
Garbarino in the slot, Colpert at the bottom of the formation. Kasevic met immediately Devontae Love. And they're going to allow this scrum to progress a little bit. Finally, we get a whistle.
Tyler Buckholz at the bottom of that scrum. It's a mass of humanity.
2-yard pickup on 1st down. Hamby looks over at the sideline. Same personnel on the football field. Quest Williams out there as well. Lawrence at the very top at the wide out position. A little bit of confusion. Quest Williams, I don't think, is quite sure what the play call is here. Kasevic's going to line up wide. Quest Williams now your lone tailback. Hamby rolls back to his left. Hamby delivers to Garbarino. Late flags all over the place. 2 different penalty flags came out. Official's going to talk this one over.
I mean, he was pulling forward. Anthony Wright came over and finished him off. I don't know if they're calling that helmet to helmet. He's claiming it was his shoulder.
Holding against the Cougars. Yep, helmet to helmet. Legal contact to the head. Penalties will offset. And we will redo 2nd down.
Well, that's kind of a, it's a disappointing break for the Cougars and a big break for the Big Reds, because the helmet to helmet would have been 15 in the first down, and then the holding too would have been 10 deep for the Cougars. So we get to kind of replay the down like it never happened.
Well, you and I learned a new rule last week.
We did.
Kosevic brought down. Fans on this near side of the field wanted a face masking call. It was an awkward looking tackle. It was in regards to an automatic first down on a personal foul call, and we went into the rule books and found out the only way it's an automatic first down on a personal foul is if it's a roughing the passer or a roughing the kicker. In this instance, it was kind of a goal-to-go situation. It was a half a distance to the goal penalty, so you didn't get the full extent of the penalty. Hamby now steps up in the pocket. Colbert.
Oh, he has been open on that route all night long, because you do gotta respect the deep ball threat that he can be. But when he kind of posts you up like a basketball play, he's a big receiver to get around, and he has had the size advantage right now on Preston Roberts, who's been covering him most of the evening.
Yeah, he kind of boxed him out there, didn't he? Like a big man on the floor in basketball. Went up and got those big pink gloves on that football. So Cougars knocking on the door now inside the 15, first trip into the red zone.
He's a big, strong kid at 6'4", 215.
And he is a basketball player. Hamby scans the defense. Kosevic straight up the middle, into the end zone, touchdown. 13 yards to pay dirt. And the Cougars, for the first time in this football game, have answered back.
Yeah, there's the Cougar counterpunch. Off the punt mistake of the Big Reds, they take advantage and cash it in, and now look to tie this game up at 7 with 6:18 to go in the third. We're back to square.
Kosevic's 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Jeremy Bauer in for the hold. The snap is good. We got some whistles and some flags. Dominic Celestini, the field goal kicker for the Cougars.
Legal formation on the Big Reds. Is that half the distance, or do you count the try?
Well, the whistles were blown before the kick was away.
Decline.
And they're going to decline it. So you're going to just decline the penalty and re-kick this from the 3-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know if someone tried to jump over the pile or lined up over the center.
High snap. Bauer gets it down. Celestini rips it through the uprights. With 6:18 remaining, third quarter of play, we are tied 7-7. Scoring drive covers 47 yards after the bad Chippewa Valley punt. '36th all-time meeting between these two schools.
Well, my connections with at Eisenhower, because I'm kind of like the Macomb area football
guru,
mob boss, right?
Yep.
Stevenson is up 3-2 at the half.
Barn burner.
Defensive struggle. Although after the 3-2 at the half, it says ugly game. So I don't know if that's one you take home to. But I think that's Stevenson Eisenhower, I believe, right? So 3-2 in the bottom of the 5th.
Baseball score. Yeah, Ike traveling down to play Sterling Heights. The other game in the MAC Red this week, Romeo at Anchor Bay.
Yeah, and that Romeo team was missing a lot of players last week, as we were told. Obviously making the difference in that loss to Eisenhower. They can still make some noise in the MAC Red. You know, we thought last year, give it to Stevenson, and they go into Stevenson and beat them, and that had everybody scratching their head. So
yeah, Romeo winning that game 7-0 last season.
yeah, there is some strange things in this division that's happened over the years that you just really can't explain. You just say it's the MAC Red and anyone can beat anyone and anything can happen, and don't count your chickens until those clocks hit 0, because you never know. Interesting to see how the Big Reds now come out after that punt, which gave the Cougars great field position, marched it down and scored. We're back to square one anymore, and that big touchdown that Shamar got has now been kind of erased and matched, so we're back to 7-7.
Spread look here offensively. Schuster going to keep it. Explores the left side. Picks up 8. Takes a little bit of a wallop on that far sideline.
That read option play where he pulls because that defensive end crashes, it's been there quite a bit. And Schuster's got some good yards on that tonight. They've really also, you know, we've seen the last few weeks with the Big Reds that we've been there for, because the Cougars have been away. Krasnicki has kind of had the bulk of the carries, and today you've seen more Shaw.
Yep.
Using that speed to that defense of the Cougars.
Cash Shaw in there right now. 4 wide receivers set. 3 wide outs to the very bottom of the formation for Andrew Schuster. It's going to be Shaw this time. Swallowed up immediately. Kolakowski.
Anybody else, number 90 was the first one in that play, though.
Kolakowski.
Yep.
Patiglio in there as well.
There. Usually when it's one of those defensive linemen, the other one is not far behind. And as you can see now, from what you saw in the first half, where Dakota was more of a 3-3-5 look, they've gone back to more of their 4-2-5 look.
So short. 2 yards short of the first down marker. Jumbo set in there now. Got a lead blocker. Krasnicki's deep. Schuster leans forward, hands to Krasnicki. Keeps those legs moving, picks up the first down. Needed 2, picked up 4. Across the 45 to the 46. Clock stops with 5:12 left to go, third quarter of play.
I'm telling you, man, it is so fun to watch. Both these teams are just so good. And what a nice cut there by Krasnicki. The defense had that sealed off. He made a nice read, nice cut. Once he gets going downhill, he's so big and strong. He's really hard to move and push. But, man, what a nice play that was.
Shamar Hurd at the bottom of the formation. The wideout at the top is Deshaun Lanier. Schuster to Krasnicki again. Met immediately. Boy, oh boy. 2 immovable forces meet.
Yeah, he ran into the brick wall known as Tyler Harper. And and Tyler Harper popped up there very enthusiastic because he laid a nice hit there. Very few guys get a shot like that in on Krasnicki.
Minimal gain there on first down, brings up a second down and long. Lead blocker, the fullback, in there once again. They're going to pass out of this formation. Schuster's going to scramble for his life, and he's going to get sacked.
Kolakowski again. Kolakowski, sorry.
Kolakowski once again.
Nice job of getting that penetration, forced Schuster up in the pocket, and that's where the rest of the pressure came. And now the Big Red's looking at 3rd and 10, little play action, just too long of a developing route. Schuster couldn't get rid of it.
It's a Cougar defense that averages 5 sacks per ball game. We don't have a statistician up here in the booth, but that's got to be at least their 3rd sack of the night.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
As good as advertised.
And you're trying to almost run the ball just to try to keep the defense on it.
Honest, yep. Schuster pulls, finds Lanier. Little tunnel screen up to midfield. Some extracurriculars at the very top near the sideline there. Shamar Hurd brought down his defender. And this time Chippewa Valley will bring out the punt unit. Ahmet Basic going to take the field.
Well, the Cougar defense standing strong, and now we'll get to see the offense pop back out after that nice drive they just had down the field. And we'll see where Ahmed Basic can put them, but they're going to have a little bit longer field to work with than before.
Garbarino and Colbert deep. Garbarino calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 20-yard line. About a 34-yard punt. Gives the Cougars a football back with 2:27 remaining in the third quarter of play. So we mentioned 36th all-time meeting between these two schools. Dakota leads the all-time series 22-13. Dakota has won 13 of the 23 regular season matchups, but really the story is what they have done in the playoffs. Dakota 9-3 all-time against Chippewa Valley in the MHSAA playoffs. Hamby avoids the rush, looks deep, got Colbert in stride across the 35 to the 31.
Yeah, they finally connected on a big play and go to the money man, Colbert, who beat Shaw deep, and the Cougars are now in business. Have 2 consecutive drives now, big plays.
49 yards. Big play the Cougars needed. They have amped up the intensity here in the second half. Kasevic driven down by Jordan Byers.
Number 22, Jordan Byers on the tackle.
And we got a Cougar down with the Bo Wheeler, number 54. Senior offensive lineman. Kasevic picks up 2. Lawrence at the bottom of the formation. Caleb Pritchard, the slot to the left. They're going to dump it off to Kasevic. Pays the price.
Oh. He was kind of backpedaling, so he saw nobody up in front of him, and he just got the lumber laid to him.
Roberts and Shaw in coverage. Roberts made the initial contact. Cash Shaw came in and cleaned up the tackle. Third down and a long 5. The line to gain is the 21-yard line. Minute 15 left to go. Trips to Hamby's right. Quest Williams along with Caleb Pritchard. They're going to go to Colbert.
Oh, what a catch.
Colbert has been Johnny on the spot here tonight. Down to the 14-yard line. Pick up a 13. So 2 catches on this drive for Colbert, covers 62 yards.
Preston Roberts has just had all kinds of trouble guarding Colbert by himself. And Owen has just owned him so far tonight. And all the Cougars are doing is putting everyone to the one side, just letting them basically playing one-on-one, playing some basketball.
Colbert at the bottom of the formation. They bring over Quest Williams now to the left side. Kasevic's going to run behind him. Not much room to operate there.
What's going to happen is the Big Reds are going to have to bring over a safety to help them. That takes some help out of the box, which now can open up the Cougar run game. So that's kind of what happens when you are winning those one-on-one receiver-corner matchups.
Spiteri makes the tackle. Time to get off one final play, perhaps. Hamby's going to look back at the game clock, and the Cougars will take this into our final break. Cougars strike in this second half. 13-yard touchdown run by Joe Sevic. The only touchdown of the third quarter. We'll take a break here on Chippewa Valley Cable. Cougars knocking on the door. Tie ball game, 7-7. We'll be right back.
Let's clear the smoke about marijuana. Marijuana and teens, what research tells us.
Did you know that marijuana can negatively affect a teen's ability to learn?
A teen who uses is 4 times more likely to report D grades.
A teen that uses marijuana is 2 times more likely to drop out of school.
Marijuana is not safe.
Marijuana is not safe for our kids. Mobilizing Michigan, protecting our kids from marijuana.
Start of the fourth quarter of play. Cougars driving with the football. Marked at the 11-yard line, brings up a second down, 7 to go.
And one thing right now, if you're Dakota, the one that you do not want is a turnover. You are well within field goal range of taking the lead in this game. Just execute.
Floating one to Colbert, touchdown Cougars!
He has been the main man tonight. The Big Reds have had no answer for Owen Colpart. And the Cougars now, with 14 unanswered, have taken a touchdown lead.
80-yard touchdown drive. Owen Colbert had 73 yards receiving on that drive alone. He covered 73 of the 80 yards by himself, including that huge 49-yard grab. And we are at Dominic Celestini PAT away from a 14-7 lead for the Dakota Cougars.
Yeah, just a little back shoulder fade. And he's got so much size that he made that catch look easy. Now, trust me, that was not an easy catch, but the Cougars got it rolling here. Now it's the Big Reds who have to answer. You know, before it was the Cougars, the Big Reds started quick. Since that early touchdown, the Cougars have really shut down the Big Red offense.
Chippewa Valley in the second half, 2 drives, 2 punts. Cougars, 2 offensive drives, 2 touchdowns. That has been the difference, is the Cougars have taken the 14-7 lead, 5 seconds gone by here in the fourth quarter of play. And just talk about a perfectly thrown ball there by the senior quarterback, Ethan Hamby. Just delivered a ball right on the money into Owen Colbert. And he's able to bring it in the back corner of the end zone. So back to the drawing board now offensively for Chippewa Valley. Cougars have kicked short on their last 2 kickoffs, kind of like a squib kick along the carpet. We'll see if the Cougars elect to do that once again.
Well, you know, he had been the victim of some drops early on, but boy, has his receiving core really picked up Ethan Hamby since then, as the Cougar offense now has found something. And, you know, it is imperative the Big Red answers. And, well, I wouldn't kick it deep to Shamar Hurd either. And the way your defense is playing, that's got to be your best bet.
I'm going to mark this football at the 39-yard line. Well, going back to the very first drive of the second half, when you brought the offense out onto the football field and Andrew Schuster lined up and they tried to draw the Cougars off sides, and then he backed up a couple steps to kick the football away, punch punt it, and it was an absolute shank. Might have been blocked, it might have just been a poor kick, but it really has kind of shell-shocked this Big Red offense. Play action fake, look out. Schuster steps up, throws a rope to Shamar Hurd inside the 10, down to the 9, and then we got a late flag as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a horse collar. You can see he pulled him down by the inside of the shoulder pads. As you just can't run step for step with Shamar Hurd. And that was actually pretty good coverage. But Schuster did a great job of throwing it to his outside and letting the speedster go run to it. And instead of letting him break away, he pulled him down. You're going to go half the distance to the goal here.
53 yards on that pass play.
There's your heavyweight counterpunch right in the middle of the ring, just throwing haymakers right now.
So they bring down Hurd right around the 9, so half the distance to the goal will move this about 4.5 yards. So inside the 5-yard line, 1st and goal to go.
Now remember, we saw last week a lot of the Big Reds where they kind of hit Lanier on the slant here. But if you notice, look at the safety over here taking the slant away from Lanier and going to make the Big Reds try to run it down the teeth of this defense. It's a great pickup there by Coach Bauer.
Krasnicki, right edge into the end zone, untouched, 4 yards, easy.
Well, that has definitely been the easiest run of the night for the Big Reds, without a doubt. It's been tough sledding into the teeth of that Cougar defense, and man, here we go. You know, we've kind of waited for this all night. It's been kind of quiet back and forth, and now just within the last couple minutes of this game, bam, bam, and just punch, 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 punch. Here we go. And the Big Reds now are going to have to find some adjustments to slow down the Owen Colpart show.
So you had Colpert with the 49-yard catch. Shamar Hurd answers with a 53-yard catch. Ahmet Basic, point after touchdown is good. And we have had some fireworks here in the second half. This one has been as good as advertised. 14-14, 11-21 left to go, second half of play.
Yeah, things are heating up. Here we go. This is kind of what we expected kind of early, some fireworks and trying to throw some big plays, trying to stretch this defense out a little bit. The Cougars are back in their 3-man front, so they have more guys in the secondary, but you just can't account for that speed of Shamar Hurd. I mean, state champion, 100-meter, 200-meter. He runs all the way across the field, and that's just a dead sprint. That's so hard to keep up with him. Makes a great play on the ball and a great ball thrown by Andrew Schuster. So the Cougars, here they come back out, and I mean, until Chippewa stops it, I'd be running that trips formation, just feed Owen Colpart.
He's been able to box out his defender. He's had his way in that wide-out position.
Teeing up for the Big Reds, number 47.
14-4-0 start in program history for Chippewa Valley. They have now done it 3 of the last 5 years. This kick is short. Garbarino, look out across the 20 up to the 22.
Very nice open field tackle there. That was number 28 for the Big Reds, Kobe Lambert. Boy, if he doesn't get that one, he had a seam.
Cougar will start 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
Boy, this has just turned into a one. I mean, it was already a good football game, but boy, oh boy. This has really just kind of exploded here, Brad, in the last 5 minutes of clock time.
The winner of this game will be in the driver's seat for a MAC Red championship. They will have a huge leg up on the competition.
Both teams have Romeo remaining. The Big Reds have Stevenson. The Cougars still have Eisenhower.
Kasevic across the 25.
Yeah, he ran into Mr. Wright. He's a force. There are so many big bodies inside. I can only imagine the words that are being just thrown back and forth right now, because these big boys in blue and white have just beaten each other up tonight. And really, they love it. This is just another fun Friday night for them. There's going to be some sore bodies tomorrow.
Yeah, you were talking to Anthony Coleman on the field prior to the start of tonight's game, and I kind of was eavesdropping, and he had an absolute huge smile on his face, and he said he couldn't wait to get going. And there's your captain, Clement Krasnicki, with the quarterback sack. He went in untouched, and he brought Hamby down.
He came in off the edge. Hamby never saw him until it was too late. And boy, he laid a clean wallop on Ethan Hamby, because that could have been close to a possible penalty, but Krasnicki cashed in on that hit. Now 3rd and long. And if you're the Big Reds, you got to put someone over the top on number 1 here to give Russ Roberts some help, because they're going right to him, I guarantee you. Oh no.
And now they're gonna float one out to Colpert. And talk about a momentum shift shift in this football game.
I'm tired. This is something.
Buckle up. The next 10 minutes are going to be wild.
You know, I've been around this rivalry since day one, 1998. I can remember I was on staff here. We drive over to Chippewa Valley, 14,000 people. Cars lined up on the grass down 19 Mile Road. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Chippewa wins the game 28-14. We come back 2 weeks later in a playoff game. And that was kind of back when Dakota really hadn't hit its stride yet. We were kind of starting to build some momentum, but they pulled a huge upset in overtime over Chippewa, and that kind of started the rivalry. 2 matchups that year, 14,000 the first game, 15 the next game. It was nuts. I've never seen anything like it. But boy, because of both teams, how good they have gotten and where the programs are at, I mean, there's just so much on the line every time they play each other. And it's just fun, and like I've said it, I already said it tonight, but man, if this was one team, I mean, the third stringers could be starters anywhere in the state. Like, it's just insane, the talent on this field, and we get every year to watch it, no matter what.
Chippewa Valley forced to take a time out there. Had only 10 players on the field. Yeah, feel very fortunate to be calling this game tonight. As I mentioned, one of 7 matchups tonight across the state of Michigan between unbeatens.
Brad, there are a lot of good games tonight. There is only one the game. This is it.
Rivalry game, to say the least. Chippewa Valley brings some pressure. Colbert straight up in the air. And it's going to take a big red bounce. Finally down at the 33-yard line. So net punt of about 15 yards.
Yeah, you know, that's tough. You know, Owens played a great game. He has just played his tail off tonight. You know, that punt didn't have a ton on it. But boy, the Big Reds are in huge field position here. And we're going to see what kind of plays here Coach Denreiter cooks up, as this is a huge opportunity here for the Big Reds. As Evan DeBucci now is in the game down at the bottom of your screen. They're going doubles to each side here. 2 sets of twin receivers.
Take a shot here. Instead it'll be Schuster, quarterback
Schuster
draw.
up the middle. Not many people saw that coming. Schuster hasn't run up the middle much tonight. It's been a lot of outside zone read. Only gets 3 though. It has been tough sledding between the tackles. That Cougar defensive line is so good. Not to mention you got Mr. Harper sitting in there. He don't make it easy to get around there. Damari Malone.
Cashaw checks out. They'll bring the Thunder in with Krasnicki.
Yeah,
4 wide receiver set. Dakota shows blitz. And it's going to be Schuster keeping it on the ground again.
Nice
up to
run
about
there.
the 25. He's going to be 2 yards short. Under 9 minutes now left to go in regulation.
We see a lot of college teams do it now where it just becomes a quarterback lead, and now that's the one guy they don't account for, so you get the extra blocker, and it becomes an advantage for the offense. And you know, we brag about how good both the offensive lines are and defensive lines, but you can follow that big offensive line with an extra blocker. Cougar defense has 3 down linemen. That's an advantage Big Red.
Right, so you're saying helmet on helmet,
yeah.
And all of a sudden the next thing you know, running backs running loose.
And this could be a double lead here with the quarterback if you're just trying to put extra helmets in the game. We'll give that.
Krasnicki needed 2. I don't think he got it.
You know, now you question the kicker that you got. You put 3 on the board here with 8 minutes to go. And I think that's what they're going to do.
Yep, Ahmed Basic.
Oh, they're going to bring the.
Yep, Ahmed Basic, 47.
Yep.
He's going to come out onto the football field. The hold of Andrew Schuster, the quarterback.
These numbers look smaller to me every year. It might be time for LASIK.
This is a 42-yard field goal attempt. He's got the leg to do it. One of the best in the state. Snap is good. Schuster spins the laces, and Ahmed Basic. Oh, my
That's
goodness.
good from 72. Wow.
Kick is good by Tarek and Fantastic.
I'm speechless, Brad. Help me out here.
42-yard field goal by Ahmed Basic gives the Big Reds a 17-14 lead with 7:29 left to go in regulation.
That ball looked like it was shot out of a cannon. Holy smokes. I mean, when you got a kicker like that, that is an absolute weapon. Weapon.
Yeah, because you know anytime you get it across midfield, you have an opportunity to score points.
Exactly.
And you don't have to go for it on 4th down. You can just put up 3 points on the scoreboard. And in this case, you take the lead. So back-to-back scoring drives for the Big Reds. The advantage of the short field there. Didn't really get much going there offensively. Only picked up 6 yards before turning it over to Ahmed Basic. Ahmed Basic boots this one deep into the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, that got returned last time, and he probably took a little offense to that.
Ball went into the end zone. Cougars will start 1st and 10.
2 of the state's top 10 teams. Some polls have these 2 teams in the top 5.
Yeah, and just do. I mean, you know, both these teams are pretty good here, and you know, 7:29 to go. This is gonna. Hang on to your hats, folks. Here we go.
Buckle up. Store for a wild ride. Ethan Hamby, 6'2", 210-pound senior signal caller, gets one right on the money to Colpert. Man, oh man, has he been good tonight. Secures that catch for 11 yards.
Yeah, I mean, the Cougars have rode him most of the way here, as he's been almost a one-man show in terms of being almost impossible to stop. And if you're going to get back down the field, you got to get something back here. And Owen Colpart has really stepped it up for the Cougars.
4 wide receivers set. Colpert at the very bottom of the formation. Hamby looks to the left. It's a screen pass to Kasevic. Makes the first defender miss. Look out! Puts on the speed burst across midfield up to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, nice little, you know, you start getting a lot of attention to Colpart. They dump it off there to Kasevic. Makes a nice run, and now we're into Cougar territory, and our Big Red territory as the Cougars starting to move. And again, you know, we've talked about this. You know, it's been punch, counterpunch, punch, counterpunch, punch, counterpunch.
23 yards on the screen. Look out! Some pressure up the middle. Floats the pass out to Garbarino, who secures it. 4-yard, call it a 5-yard gain on 1st down. And this is a Cougar offense that really spreads the wealth around. 8 receivers this season have at least 1 catch. 5 receivers have at least 1 touchdown. Just all kinds of athletes all over this football field for both teams. 6 minutes now remaining, 4th quarter of play.
Well, if you decided not to come tonight, shame on you. Good Lord.
Lawrence in the slot. Garbarino at the top of the formation. They'll bring Lawrence down to the right. Quest Williams in as a lead blocker. Kasevic, look out! Takes a thump there by Rayshawn Hester as he gets ushered out of bounds.
Yeah, Brad, these are just 2 heavyweights slugging it out, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the offensive coordinators now are just letting it fly. At this point in the game, there are a lot of tired bodies out there. It's just trying to see who can wear the other one down.
16 yards. 5:25 left to go. Clock just continues to work down. Big Reds have 2 timeouts. Hamby hands off Kasevic, looking for a little bit of room to operate. Pounded out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. And he's going to be short of the 20. They're going to say he went out of bounds at the 22. So 4-yard gain on 1st down brings up a 2nd down and 6.
Cougars being very patient, as they should be. They're taking their time. You know, they're chunking yards, and then he pulls the throw. Guys are wide open, doing a nice job of mixing up the run and the pass.
Now they will say the 20-yard line, so pickup of 6. Hamby rolls out to his right, sidearms it into double coverage. Colbert has it. Inside the 10, down to the 8, 12-yard gain. Owen Colbert has been unstoppable here tonight.
Caught that on Drevion Arnold, so they had a sub come in and try to put someone different on him, somebody a little bit bigger. Colbert is just way too big, way too strong. Not only that, to box him out like that, but to control his body and still make that catch is outstanding.
Can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Colbert shaking his head, nodding his head up and down. He gets it. He knows he's the hot hand right now. Inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal to go. Hamby this time. Across the middle, up and in and out of the hands. Was looking to go to DeAndre Lawrence Jr.
I'll tell you what, you got to take your hat off to Ethan Hamby tonight. He has just threaded some perfect passes. He's been the victim of some drops, but that ball was as good as you could throw it. Absolutely as good as you can throw it.
Wes Williams now lined up as a wide receiver. Sound out, Kasevic. QB draw into the end zone, Hamby. Touchdown, Cougars.
What a call. What a call. All the attention on Colbert. You got Kasevic running out of the backfield. Everyone's running everywhere. And you just draw it right at the middle. And Ethan Hamby cashes in for a big touchdown.
Listen to this crowd.
Oh,
everything you could hope for on a Friday night under the lights. 2 rivals just slugging it out. It was a quiet first half. Chippewa Valley led it 7-0. We got some fireworks here in the second half as Celestini adds on the extra point. And the Cougars with a 4-point lead, 21-17, 4:22 left to go.
They are slugging it out, Brad. Listen, y'all that are watching this game, okay? Don't miss this game ever again. What are you thinking?
You got to come out.
Wait the 45 minutes to go home. That's about what it's going to take to get out of here. It's worth it. It's worth it. Nothing beats this game.
This is high school football in a nutshell, is it not?
Right. I mean,
2 schools separated by a couple miles.
Mr. Galley mentioned to me the Brother Rice Catholic Central game.
Well, he's a Brother Rice alum.
Well, yeah, right. And not to be disrespectful, I just nodded my head and instead of giving him the.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I was giving the. Nothing steps up to this game.
No.
Nope. Good Lord.
2 perennial powers in the state of Michigan, separated by a couple miles. Division I athletes all over this football field. And it always delivers. Celestini to kick it away. Kicks it deep this time. Shamar Hurd fields it at the 4-yard line. Hurd across the 20. Hurd across the 30. Shamar Hurd up to the 49-yard line. 45 yards on the kick return by Shamar Hurd.
Man, you want to talk about just how fans here are riding just a roller coaster of emotions, watching this go back and forth and back and forth. So they finally kick it deep for the first time all night, and Shamar returns that almost 40 yards out to midfield, and 4:12 is an eternity. Big Red's down 4. You need a touchdown. Field goal is not going to do you any good here.
Let's go back to that Chippewa Valley Eisenhower football game. That long sustained drive where they took over 10 minutes off the clock. This is an offense that's very patient, very methodical, will wear you down. They're trying to run on first down, moving the legs. Cash Shaw, nowhere to go.
No, the cleanup crew came in there. He got loose, but then Michael Patiglio cleaned him up and stopped him for a very, very short gain.
1 yard brings up a 2nd down and 9. 3:45 remaining, 4th quarter of play. Chippewa Valley with the football.
This place is absolutely on fire right now.
Andrew Schuster, only a junior. Schuster steps up in the pocket. He made contact with his throwing arm. Couldn't get much on that pass. I believe that was Anthony Coleman.
Yeah, they sent everybody deep.
Kolakowski in there as well.
They sent everybody deep. Schuster had, it's a long play to develop, and Schuster got knocked down there and got hit. A little short here, but for sure, we're in 2-down territory here. You don't need all of it.
Trips to Schuster's left, including Deshaun Lanier. Lanier has been quiet here tonight. High snap. Schuster brings it down. He's going to try to scramble for it. Across midfield up to the Dakota 48.
He got
to be 6 yards short.
You got to go for it. But the pressure the Cougars are getting, I mean, they're just all over Schuster. He does not have a lot of time to throw.
It's tremendous coverage downfield as well. Nobody open right now for Andrew Schuster.
Well, that's a luxury you have with that defensive line, Brad. You can get pressure with 4 guys. You got 7 guys deep in coverage. The Big Reds are only sending out 4. Advantage Cougars.
Play of the game. 2:45 left to go in regulation. Schuster gonna make sure his wide receivers to his left get a little bit wider. They send a man in motion. And it's incomplete.
He got buried again, that time by Anthony Coleman.
Was looking for Lanier.
Well, the Big Reds have 2 timeouts left. They're going to need to use them here. You're going to see the ground and pound Dakota Cougar offense, I think, coming out here.
Turnover on downs. Gives the football back to the Cougars. 2:31 left to go.
They're getting louder, and the coaching staff is asking you to be quiet. They're getting louder.
What an atmosphere here tonight.
Wow.
This home side was going absolutely bonkers, and now everybody finally quiets down.
I'd be surprised if this ball goes to a receiver. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Kosevic, look out! Kosevic! Brought down from behind at the 5-yard line.
Oh, that was just gutted up the middle. He turned it left, and it was just a foot race to the end zone. He protected that football, but what a run. And that might break the back of the Big Reds right there.
47 yards on the scamper by Joe Kosevic.
Here comes the big old running back.
They bring in Kelvin Watson. Watson had 2 rushing touchdowns inside the 10 last week. He's their short distance back. He's their pounded inside guy. Gonna take their time. Inside 5 seconds remaining on the play clock. Watson. Whole host of Big Reds come in to make the tackle, including Rayshawn Hester. Chippewa Valley going to use one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
Chippewa trying to strip the ball there. The referee wasn't fooled there. Good effort, though, but trying to make something happen right now. And you got the Cougars timeout, I believe, Big Reds.
Yep, 1:35 left to go.
What a football game. By the way, they were wrong on the over-under. Take the over.
Always take the over.
Holy smokes. It's been a while since you've seen it this revved up. It's been crazy. And boy, the Cougars just landed a roundhouse on that turnover on downs, and then Kisevic just burst up that middle. And he was off and running, caught the 5-yard line. And if you're Dakota right now, you are in no hurry to put this in the end zone. You want to chew off as much time of the clock as possible and give the Big Reds very little, if none, to try to put one on the board here, because we've seen the Big Red offense strike really, really quick.
All the games are done on Valley Sports Detroit Extra.
Anybody just said that this game was on Valley Sports Extra? I think we got some competition.
Sure do. A lot of cameras on those sidelines, bringing viewers all kinds of images here tonight. Well, we've had quite a few blowouts on our airwaves, and what a game here tonight.
Oh.
I feel like we've amped up our game just a little bit too.
There he is.
Kisevic into the end zone.
The guy who got him there, Joe Kisevic.
4 yards out. His second touchdown of the half. Might be the final nail in the coffin.
He followed that big offensive line and got right into the end zone. And that more than likely is going to put the nail in the coffin for the Big Reds.
And that point after touchdown just creeps over the crossbar with a $1:32 left to go. Cougars 28, Big Reds 17.
What a game. What a game.
Big Reds led it 7-0 at the half. Cougars forced a punt on Chippewa's very first offensive possession of the second half, and the Cougars on a short field tied up the ball game. Dakota then took a 14-7 lead on an Owen Colpert touchdown. Chippewa Valley answered right back. Krasnicki 4 yards out. Score was 14-14. Ahmet Basic came out, drilled a 42-yard field goal, gave the Big Reds a 17-14 lead.
Right. Good word, because drilled was appropriate there.
And then the Cougars scored on their last two possessions of this football game. 14 unanswered points, an 8-yard touchdown run by the quarterback Ethan Hamby, and now a 4-yard scamper.
Well, the quarterback draw on the first touchdown to give them the lead was a brilliant play call, because they've been throwing to Colpart, they've been gutting him with Kisevic. They kind of ran everyone out and let Ethan run right up the middle, and there was no one in the vicinity, and he waltzed right in the end zone untouched. And then the Kisevic run that got down to the 5 just broke their backs, and it didn't take long for the Cougars to cash in.
It's another squib kick. That's a loose free ball. Shamar Hurd booted it. It's at the bottom, I think. Yep, Chippewa Valley's got it. Woo! Dodged a huge bullet there.
Yeah, he was coming up 100 miles an hour to field that, and just missed it and kind of toe punched it a little bit. And boy, that could have been just the absolute backbreaker, as the Cougars could have need the rest of the game out. So you're going to see a very, very soft prevent here.
Yeah, they got 5 guys. Now we're going to have a 6th guy about 10 yards off the football. It's a dime defense, to say the least, and in and out of the hands. Evan DiBucci.
Well, and this is kind of, Alan Browning with a big stick there, but, you're going to throw these little passes to try to right now to take what the defense gives you, and they can just let the Cougar secondary just tee off on the Big Reds.
And they were looking for some yards after the catch there out of Evan DiBucci, who dropped it.
I mean, it wasn't 7 minutes ago. This was a 17-14 game.
DiBucci hauls this one in. Did he get out of bounds? Yes.
Schuster's pass complete to number 82.
Well, next week we will be back at Chippewa Valley for the Stevenson Titans against these Big Reds. Dakota will go on the road to take on the Bulldogs of Romeo.
And then I believe the week after we are back here for Dakota against Eisenhower.
Yep. So plenty of opportunities to see both of these teams all season long. Schuster was looking to go up top to Cameron Petway, incomplete.
Number 3. Falls incomplete.
If you're the Cougars right now, your mentality is don't get beat deep. Keep every white jersey in front of you. Even if they catch the ball, as long as it's in front of you, that's a good thing. You don't want to get beat deep, where now you can put Chippewa in an opportunity for an onside kick, and maybe come and pull off maybe one of the greatest come from behind wins ever in this rivalry.
Schuster, incomplete. Boy, he has been hurried and harassed all night long.
That'll bring up 3rd down.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Patiglio, Coleman, Kolakowski, Harper. I mean, they've just been all over him, and especially late in the second half, and not giving him much time to throw, as they have kind of taken it to this Big Red offensive line. Something the Big Red offensive line is not used to.
3rd down and 10. 50-yard line is the line to gain. 1 timeout remaining for the Big Reds. Schuster looks to his right and was looking, I think, that time for Cameron Petway once again.
With so many guys in the secondary, there's not a whole lot of open bodies, so he's trying to thread a needle, which is very, very tough to do. A vicious pass rush.
That pass kind of fell in between Petway and Hurd. Perhaps a little bit of confusion on the route running there by the 2 wideouts.
Well, 4th and 10 here, Brad. Big Reds don't get a first down here. This is the game.
Nickel look this time from Dakota. Lanier at the bottom of the formation, wears 13 in white. Krasnicki steps up, makes a block, was looking for Lanier, nothing there. Whoa, great coverage by the cornerback, Blake Garbarino. It'll be a turnover on downs, and the Cougars can kneel this football game out.
Yeah, trying to look like a little stop and go. Just a little miscommunication on the timing. Big Reds tried for something. The Cougars were all over it. And now the Cougars can kneel this game out and take this one and go all by themselves atop the MAC Red division.
4 straight wins now for the Dakota Cougars over the Chippewa Valley Big Reds.
And you're going to look at the score and go, wow, an 11-point game. This was a lot closer than an 11-point game as you just see on paper. This was a war that just kind of exploded in the last 6 minutes of this ball game.
Yep, Big Reds had the 17-14 lead as they will fall to 4-1, 2-1 in MAC Red play, and the Cougars improved to 5-0, 3-0 in MAC Red play. As we mentioned, Dakota will go on the road next week to take on Romeo and will look to hold serve. They are officially in the driver's seat. The MAC Red is theirs to lose.
Yeah, you got a tough road game next week at a very capable Romeo team. This is a team last year that spoiled Stevenson's lone chance of being MAC Red champs. So this is a game next week that the Cougars have really got to get ready for. And if you're the Big Reds, you got the Titans coming at home. You're going to probably try to be very angry and still stay within striking range because, again, anything could happen.
Dakota improves to 6-1 all time when these two teams are undefeated. A 28-17 victory here tonight. Owen Colport, the main man, the MVP of this football game. He was outstanding at that wide receiver position here in the second half, including an 11-yard touchdown grab. What a ball game. Outstanding. Everything we could have hoped for and more.
It was incredible, and the play call of the quarterback draw, that was the play that gave the Cougars a 21-17 lead. No one was expecting it. You know, they put Kasevic in motion, so someone ran out with him. You had Colpart who'd been tearing you up, and they just blocked everyone out. Hamby ran right up the middle. No one laid a hand on him until he was 3 yards deep in the end zone, and that was kind of the play that just really swung the momentum in favor of the Cougars.
Two teams coming together right at midfield to exchange high fives and handshakes and the display of sportsmanship as you see a very injured Cameron Frazier there on crutches. Mentioned Chippewa Valley shorthanded here tonight. No Kalen Shaw, no Cameron Frazier, but no excuses. Next man up. Huge victory here tonight for the Dakota Cougars, 28-17 over their rivals, the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. Well, awesome job tonight, Jeff. It's a real pleasure.
Oh, likewise. It's always fun. We can be out on Friday night calling a game like this, and when we get treated to something like this, that, you know, two fine teams in our district, it's a treat to be out here. A lot of great kids down there, and even though it is a heated rivalry, these two teams have so much respect for each other. These kids really, you can see them shaking hands. You can see the look of respect they both have. Both teams always leave it on the field. Just a great thing for this district.
Well, you never know. These two teams could hook up again come playoff time. Well, for our hardworking Chippewa Valley Cable Television crew and my broadcast partner, Jeff Vitale, I'm Brad Fetter saying goodnight one final time from Dakota High School. Once again, your final score, the Cougars 28, the Big Reds 17. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.